All right, sweet. Well, welcome, welcome to my lab. It's break time currently on this fine Wednesday morning at work. So decided to show off kind of my recording setup for my lab because I just set it up yesterday and took a lot of work. Was up very late, a lot later than I'd like to admit. You might see me messing with my scope here every now and then because it seems whenever I don't focus on that window that my scope is um, projecting with web control, sometimes it stops. So I have to keep that at least to be like second in that stack. So right behind OBS, which is what I'm using to record this. So if things go wrong, please bear with me. Like I said, I set this up yesterday. If you saw my desk right now, which you can, hold on, let's take a look. Yeah, it's a total mess. I have a nightmare of a USB hub and power strip down here. Things are definitely going to have to change. This is not very much a permanent setup because we are going to eventually. Let me make sure my audio isn't echoing here. I don't think it is. Um, so the reason this is such a mess right now is because I have a much larger and I guess more fit desk for this in my apartment at school. We'll go ahead and turn on the webcam so I can put this down. Um, but you know, what I'm working with here is great, but I'll have a much better location when I am working from my apartment at school. So for now, this is what we're working with. I've got a little view of my desktop here. These three views you see in the top left, the top right, and the bottom left, they're going to stay there permanently, at least as of now, because I can't think of a time where I wouldn't need the oscilloscope, my desktop just for googling things like that, and a video feed of my work area right here. So another thing that I do have, and we'll go ahead and fire that up, is we have the Kingst logic analyzer. So which I can actually, let's make sure the scope didn't just crap out on me. I can actually turn that on. So here's my Kingston, or my Kingst, is it Kingston? Kingst. Logic analyzer window. So we'll be using that a lot, especially with these reverse engineering projects. So maybe you have these off by default. I don't know. We're gonna definitely see where things go and get used to setting things up. A lot of this is kind of just a demonstration. I'm not a big content creator. I've never really wanted to be. I've never really, had that desire. I would like to document what I do and the projects I work on. I'm not sure. Oh, that was my multimeter. I'm not sure if you heard that, but it was bitching at me. So I would like to document my hardware projects. I don't know how much effort I'm going to be putting into these videos, or if I'm even going to be doing videos. I might be live streaming this. But the biggest reason I did set this all up is because I wanted just some friends online to be able to see what I do, how I do it, and learn from that. They're big software guys. They've taught me pretty much everything I know. I just realized I put my hand in front of that. In terms of software, I've learned so much from them. So it's about time I teach them something that I know. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. I'm not doing anything with this device right here. Because if I was, that would be illegal. This is simply a broken TI-15, Texas Instrument 15 calculator, Explorer Edition. It is calculators they used in grade school. I found it like this. I found it hooked up to all these probes and everything. This is how it was out of the box. So I just ended up on my desk for legal reasons. Anyways, I'm not going to be releasing information on how these things work because that is illegal, and I would be hit with a cease and desist pretty quickly if it got enough attention, and I don't want to deal with that. So instead, I'll just show you some cool things right now just to get an idea of how my setup works. I've already got my scope set up to how I need it. It's rolling. So what we can do is show you right now. I have the scope hooked up directly to my bench power supply that is set to 3 volts. So we can turn it off and you can see the internal capacitor discharge, which, you know, is kind of standard for these variable power supplies. I don't have a function generator yet. That is next on my list. And then after that, I would like to also get a pretty good microscope for looking at the internal circuits of IC chips. I already have a microscope that I have used for things like that in the past. The only problem is it's very, very difficult because the light is on the back, and a lot of things you need light kind of all around to see the circuitry. At least I think that's the ones they have at my school are absolutely massive. So I'm gonna have to see if there's a more downsized version of that, but you know that might not be a thing. And even then, it's probably not possible to put a camera up next to it, so I'll have to take pictures and then display those pictures in these videos. But yeah, that's kind of me turning the power supply on and off. We'll do it a few times. It's kind of funny. I do like capacitor waveforms and inductor waveforms because they're so similar. But um, let's I guess put to use, see what we're doing. So I guess what I can do is keep my power supply turned off and hook up. I've already got my scope hooked up to ground here with the power supply, and we'll just um, take this lead and put it on the correct end of the uh, capacitor. It's kinda might have to go from the other side here, or actually we'll do this. I also might need to get some vice grips at some point just so I can not move these around so much while I'm recording. That way we've got a good steady view of what we're looking at. So if I hold up my recording software, we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and zoom that in there just so you can kind of see. That's what we're working with. Other than that, that's what I'm talking about with the power supply, or with the oscilloscope. Whenever I move, everything freaks out. So there's the capacitor, just kind of testing out, zooming in with camo, which is what I'm using to record this with my phone on this arm on my desk. So we'll go ahead and zoom that back out because we're gonna do some funny stuff. All right, so let's take a look. It's hooked up to the capacitor. Everything's solid. Let's go ahead and turn it on. Let's see what happens to the wave. Oh, actually, got to make sure the waveform is actually working correctly. Let's see. Or the oscilloscope. And there it goes. So let's go ahead and power it on. We can see the capacitor charge up, and that is both on the end of the I guess the power supply and the capacitor on this board. And we can go ahead and start discharging the capacitor, which gives us a cool little waveform as our both of our capacitors are discharging at the same time. And an interesting thing with that is that we can pretty much go ahead and do something, kind of show how these things work. We'll turn this back on, and then as soon as we start discharging it, I'm going to start pressing this button, the on button on the calculator, and kind of just show you guys what that does to the capacitor. So capacitor is discharging. Let's press the button and see how I'm kind of pressing it and it's going down. We'll do it again. Turn it up. Press it. Now I'm not pressing it. It's much smoother. But as soon as I press it, I can make it go down a little bit. So back up, and I'm going to press it as soon as I turn it off. Turn it off, press, 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 press. See? It's pretty interesting. And every time, it's pretty cool to see kind of that reaction from from me pressing the button. It's very, very cool. So things like that, I guess, is what you can expect. There's that smoother waveform, especially near the top there. Uh, just kind of getting an idea of how these circuits work. Am I pressing the right button, actually? Hold on. Should be. Gotta be careful because these leads are right next to each other. Yep, it's on off. You can see every time I press it, there's a little resulting bump. So there's our waveform. We'll go ahead and turn it on. Here, look, actually, now that it's on and our capacitor is fully charged, now when I press the button, we can see it having to recover and charge back up again. So let's go ahead and spam it. Let's see how low we can get the... there's probably... Yeah. Sometimes I can get these large spikes by timing two of them together, but I don't exactly have it down to a science. I've only done it a couple times. I'm not sure what that would be. You would think the capacitor wouldn't be able to provide what is needed until it can reach back up to charge. That's kind of why we have that little rebound immediately after. No matter how many times I press the button, it doesn't go much lower. But I have gotten it to drop pretty low a few times by timing two clicks together. Not sure how that works, but it's pretty interesting. And we can try all sorts of buttons here. So as soon as I press these buttons, everything works. So I don't know. This was kind of my demonstration of just how I'm gonna use this workbench to kind of show everything. So I guess to show off my equipment just a little bit, I've got a Lenovo Legion laptop right here with OBS open, just showing everything off. Multimeter. The light's kind of blinding. There's the multimeter. Got my decent soldering iron, but my better one is at school. These pile of calculators that I found this way. My variable power supply and my oscilloscope. This camera is not very good. It's definitely not as good as that webcam, but it's gonna be good for the hand cam type thing that I'm wanting to do. So yeah, that's about it. I've also got a whiteboard up there that I use sometimes, but I also have one at school, so that's pretty cool. But that's it. So this is my setup. I'm Carter. Make sure you keep learning, and I hope that if you are interested in this, and if I stick to uploading these things and I don't run into too many problems getting these things moved to school, that you can continue learning from me. I hope to, if I ever make mistakes or anything like that, I ask a lot of questions. So if you ever have answers to those questions or a correction to something I said, please leave that in a comment or message or contact me in some way, shape, or form. Just make your thoughts known. If I see it, I will read it. If you're not an asshole. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. I hope you found my setup as cool and satisfying as I do. Thanks.